Hey guys, Kpac here. Wow, has it been a long time since I've done any kind of recording. Truth of the matter is, I haven't been as much wanting to record solo games, if that makes sense. I'd rather play with somebody because it's much more fun and to record it that way. So instead, I've decided to start some new projects that are closer to voice acting, which is what I wanted to do. That's not to say I won't be doing games on this channel at all. It just means that there's going to be a lot more voice acting and a lot more stories and stuff being read and told than there was before. So, as a good introductory, I've decided that the first one of this is going to be Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack movie from Godzilla's point of view. Enjoy.
Rage, hunger, pain, vengeance. All these thoughts echo through my primal mind, but somehow I know that neither of these voices are my own. I'm neither alive nor dead. I'm not even of one body and mind. All these voices and thoughts are swirling and clashing like the sounds of warplanes fighting. Who am I? What am I? No, it's more like, who and what are we? As the murky depths pressure hugs my body, what I used to feel as comfort now only feels like malice in my twisted thoughts. I can't stay here, for in the ocean's embrace, I know there would be no comfort. My body is slow to respond. How long have I been resting? The last thing I remember is a loud crash with a bright light and white hot fire. Then there was a stinging cold as I sank to these depths. Come on, tail, legs, body, move. Move! Finally, my body begins to respond. My powerful muscles begin lifting me up from the seabed. I can feel and taste the salt from the water across my gills. I begin to swim and then I see and hear something. What is that? I don't have time or patience for this. I see what looks like a submarine. Wait, how do I know what this thing is? It doesn't matter. I know that they kill. Not this time. Not again. In my anger, I pick up speed, throwing a cloud of sand and immense pressure its way. It careens and slams into a nearby rocky wall. I can hear screams from within, and I feel myself grinning. Serves you right for encroaching on my territory. To a watery grave with you, I hear myself say with a snarl to the humans inside. Wait, how do I know there are humans within? Screams could be anything. Again, it doesn't matter. It's because of humans that I am here. Humans. They're all the same. Greedy. Self-righteous. They must be destroyed. They must all pay for what they did to us. As I have these thoughts and feelings, I feel a familiar heat along my dorsal fins as they glow while I'm swimming past them. My head hurts too much. All these thoughts and voices is like a constantly pounding migraine. Consider yourselves lucky, humans. Next we meet, I won't be as merciful. As I begin heading inland, my ears pick up something. A cry? A call of sorts. What in the hell is that? Then my body feels tremors with the cry. An earthquake? This just keeps getting stranger. No matter. I have to get out of this water and feed. Not even a quake will stop me. I rise from the depths to get an angle on where I'm at. I'm closer. At least I can get to the shore a bit, but not where I need to be. I can feel the water rolling off my scales. At least I would if there wasn't this typhoon. At least to the humans it would be a typhoon. For me, it's just a storm. As I come to shore, I can hear humans screaming. I know they can see me. Their screams are doing nothing to help this pain in my head. The pain turns to rage. I just want them to shut up. I begin roaring at them. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I feel my foot crush their dwelling in themselves within. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel at least a small bit of satisfaction feeling their tiny bones crush under my weight and feeling of their viscera from their remnants. What is happening to me? I used to never feel this kind of rage and, dare I say, orgasmic release to destroying these pathetic creatures. As I break the surface a second time, it looks far more familiar, and it's daytime. Ugh, the light hurts and is blinding. What the heck bounced off my head? Humans in a boat. You disgust me. I let out a roar announcing my arrival and dominance. After all, a king must maintain power and control. Looking around, all these humans are screaming as my roar of dominance turns to one of annoyance and pain. I hear the water crashing all around me as I breathe in the air these humans breathe. It's stale, acrid, smells of dead fish, unappetizing, hunger, pain, confusion. I tromp along these humans' pathetic dwellings. Much has changed to my eyes. No structure looks familiar. What year is this? Why are these human dwellings so tall now? Annoying obstacles. I walk by a dwelling and my gaze briefly falls on a female. Time for a little fun. I pass the dwelling and I can hear her sigh. That was my cue. I use my tail to slam into the wall, crushing her dreams of survival. I continue to march and look down at their vehicles. None of them look familiar. All the blaring horns and screams are nearly too much to bear. In my head, all I can hear is kill, kill, kill them all. Destroy those that destroyed us before. I feel the heat welling from my fins and gathering in my mouth. No, not here. It would be a waste of precious energy I have little of right now, and even less patience. I can feel the presence of another kaiju, weak in comparison, but it seems to be moving my way. Within moments, I'm peering over a ridge, much like I did before. These humans never learned. They still are there. I can see and smell them. I roar at them a warning, but give no time for them to run as I am smashing through this mountain. All too soon, their screams of terror and pain are silenced by their burial under the rock and rubble. Again, I feel a great sense of pleasure in doing this. Part of me doesn't want to stop until every human is buried beneath me. Then in the distance, I hear the other kaiju cursing me and challenging my views. I roar back, "How dare you question my judgment, child?" It roars back, begging me to reconsider. "Never again!" I roar in response. Now I know it's a male. Its roar and musk of sorts fills the air around him. I can hear the humans' annoying helicopters, and it only strengthens my resolve to destroy them. In my distraction, the other kaiju buried himself underground. Where the hell are you? As I try to walk, I feel the ground cave beneath me and I fall. Talk about embarrassment. The fall didn't hurt me so much as it pissed me off. How dare you make a mockery of me, you whelp! He charges out of his hole in the mountain at me and bites into my arm. Now this both hurts and pisses me off more. Ow, you son of a... Let go! I begin to flail him a moment before I begin dragging this tiny whelp. I'm getting fed up at this point and lift him up, slamming him into the ground, and then from the ground, I fling him into the gravel pit. Usually I'd give my opponent a chance to surrender, but I'm seeing red. I want nothing more than to kill this pathetic whelp for his insolence. I stomp on his face and then continue to kick and stomp at his torso, and I'm feeling elated with each strike. Know your place! I roar and punt him as he tries to escape and he rolls towards the pit walls trying to climb out. I'm not having it. I turn and slam my tail on him. I didn't do enough damage as he makes it to the top of the cliff. He roars and leaps off. Foolish. I growl and whip my tail. Batters up, swinging a hit. He lands a good distance away, but again, I'm annoyed by the damn helicopters. I chase the copters off before turning my attention back to my prey. It's time to finish what I started and end this well. I feel the heat from my fins and the overwhelming pressure build, and I blast a beam at him to knock him off the cliffside. As he is dazed on the ground, I snarl and let the pressure build once more, much faster this time, and I make sure he can see what's coming. I see the fear in his eyes as he's seemingly seeing his life flash before his. I don't care. He opposed me and stood in my way. He sided with the humans, and so he will die with the humans. I release my second beam at him and watch as he incinerates. His screams of pain fuel my rage further, and I let out a roar for all to know what would happen if you oppose my will. I turn to leave and go about my business and sense something else. Towards the waters opposite from whence I came, I hear a soft song. It's trying to soothe me, but all I can think of is to destroy this thing before it gets to me. As I'm minding my own, trying to sort things out in my head, I hear the annoying roar of humans' planes. I'm too tired right now to deal with them. I'm trying to gather my energy for my next battle, which I know is coming. As their planes are drawing nearer, I continue my tread, only to feel annoying stings along my dorsal fins. I let out a roar of annoyance. The humans actually think they can stand up to me. What insolence. The stings are getting worse. They're now hitting my torso, and I'm feeling massive heat, forcing me to move my head side to side to avoid singeing my eyes. After that first barrage, I shake it off, barely phased, and growl, letting out a roar. You've just sealed your fates. I don't have time for this. I watch as they fly around me, trying to get a vantage point. Futile. I take aim and blast them from the skies. The burning wreckage illuminates the night sky, and some of the wreckage destroys a nearby home. I'm pleased by this. There's no way any of them survived. Now in the silent skies, the song I heard grows louder, and I feel a rise in power. Then another rise in power. Great, now there are two. That beautiful song from a feminine kaiju is meant to soothe me. I could tell by her melodious voice and words, but it only seems to enrage me further. I wanted her to stop. It was confusing me. And then, this other presence, ancient and powerful, like me. I wouldn't back down. I have my own mission, and I will see it through. I can hear its roar, and it's heading straight for me. Just what I needed. As I near the city, I look towards some humans that are shining their lights on me. What I see next is unbelievable. That feminine voice I heard, I knew it sounded familiar. It was Mothra. Part of me yearned for her still. No, I can't think of that right now. What was she doing here? She calls out to me to stop my attack. I call back in protest. You too? How can you side with them after everything they've done to us, traitor? I can't believe you would side with them. Then the next words from her broke me. Very well then. I'm sorry. What did she mean by that? As I saw her take flight, I knew then what it meant. She aimed to fight me. She truly was turning her back on me. The heartbreak turned to rage, and all my previous thoughts of never fighting a woman were gone. She thinks I'm a monster? Fine. I'll show her a monster. As she nears, I brace myself, and her legs scrape along my face as she slapped the taste out of my mouth. I rubbed my jaw in disbelief. She really is going to fight me. She flew a bit and turned facing me. I saw her stingers firing, and they struck me, dazing me a moment, forcing me to slam into the building on my right side. Shaking it off, I stood enraged by this and began firing my atomic breath at her. She managed to stay just ever so slightly ahead of the beam's speed. This is what was so annoying about her. She was so goddamn nimble as long as she was flying. Then again, I would expect no less from the Queen of Monsters. I fire again and she continues to evade, but I destroyed a skyscraper. I could hear the humans scream, so a small victory, I suppose. I didn't have time to relish in that moment as I felt Mothra grapple the back of my head. Her claws dug in and I tried to shake her off. "Stop it! You're really starting to piss me off, woman!" Then I got a hell of a surprise. Arriving at the scene was a monster I hoped never to cross paths with again. I recognized his power somehow, even though I had only just awakened. It was Ghidorah. But something was off. Where were his wings? Wings or no wings, I knew I was in trouble. Oh shit, just what I needed. As Ghidorah was approaching, Mothra flew off of me. I didn't have time to react as all three of Ghidorah's heads bit into me. This hurt like a bitch. Not only did one of his heads latch to my injured arm, another got my other arm and then my throat. "Let me go! I'll kill you!" I roar. There was no response from Ghidorah verbally. But then, a new pain. He was using his gravity bolts on me. I could feel thousands of bolts of electricity coursing through me. I roared in response. Ghidorah was forcing me back from his strength and electricity. Soon I found myself tumbling back from being shoved into the rubble. Angrier now, I stood and glared at Ghidorah. I give a menacing roar. "You're gonna pay for that. I bite back." I marched towards Ghidorah, paying no mind to the humans. They would either move or get crushed. I didn't care. All I wanted was to rip all three of Ghidorah's ugly heads off his golden-scaled body. As I neared, I did just as I said I would. He went for a bite, but I locked my arm around his gangling neck that tried to bite. The center head, I sunk my teeth into the neck, and immediately I could taste the blood. This only made me want to squeeze harder until I snapped that pencil neck in half. The neck I had held in my arm I didn't realize still had a bit of range until it sunk in my arm again. His third head finally tried to get in on the action, but I held it by his horns. As we grappled, I could hear the familiar sound of wings flapping and I could feel the wind. Mothra was close. I had to do something, but I couldn't let go of Ghidorah. I estimated her arrival based on the sound of her wings and slammed my tail into her. I felt the impact and heard her grunt and careen off course. She did her best to avoid humans and did so. Ghidorah, feeling desperate, decided to feed me another bolt, and I roared, letting go of the middle head in my mouth. But I still had the other two heads, so shifting my weight and using my tail for leverage, I spun and hurled the dragon into a nearby building. Enraged and in pain, I was getting tired of this game. He was weaker than usual. Normally I couldn't overpower him this easily. I had to end this here and now, permanently. I gathered my atomic breath and blasted that golden bastard full bore. I watched as he went down and I stepped towards him knowing he wasn't dead yet. I aimed another blast and fired, but no, Mothra, what are you doing? It was too late. She was struck. I can't believe she saved that bastard. She sacrificed herself for him? In my rage, the voices within grew louder and louder, chanting, "Kill them all, make them pay, avenge us!" I couldn't focus. My mind was rushing with no clear goal. This time, I didn't want the humans to shut up. I wanted my own thoughts to shut up. The buzzing of the voices got louder and faster to where it was just noise now. Annoying, incomprehensible, loud noise. And as if it wasn't bad enough, the humans started firing at me. I felt something lodge into me and start to bore into my arm and neck. Beyond enraged, I fired on every single one of them with no remorse. This is why we have to kill them all. They will keep hurting us. The voices buzzed, getting louder and louder. They were driving me crazy. I began to prep for another blast and I heard wind whip around me. I turned and blasted Mothra again. This time it was point blank, and she was obliterated to dust. Part of my mind screamed out, "What have I done?" But the rest, she deserved it. She betrayed us. As I roared in a mix of rage, confusion, and sorrow, I felt something unusual. A chill throughout my entire being, and then I heard it. That unmistakable roar. I then saw the glowing light. Mothra had lent her life and energy to Ghidorah. No, this wasn't just Ghidorah. This was King Ghidorah, his ultimate form. No! We cannot allow this! I roared and fired my atomic breath at full power, but something was wrong. This beam that was meant to incinerate into ashes was instead blocked by some force. This had to be Mothra's doing. The full brunt of her betrayal sent the voices into a full frenzy, driving me insane. His shield not only blocked my attack, he sent it back at me. I was blasted into the water, angered and hurting. I plunged into the water below. The salt water didn't bother me, even with minor wounds, but this time, there was a harsh burning in my neck and shoulder. I couldn't win this battle in the congested land building, so I took it to the water. I was intending to drown this motherfucker. King Ghidorah was falling for it. He flew into me and I grabbed him and began dragging him into the depths with me. His shocks hurt like a bitch in the water, but I wouldn't let go despite each shock making me roar in pain. I wasn't about to let him get back to the surface. As we battled, I could hear in the distance the humans launching another sub. They have no concern to us. Finish this! The voices yelled within my head. The electricity was agonizing. Why wasn't Ghidorah drowning? I aimed a beam underwater at Ghidorah, but he managed to dodge. My beam broke the surface of the water. I didn't know what it hit, and I didn't care. Somehow Ghidorah had grappled me from behind. I struggled to get free. I saw the sub fire off a missile. This was my chance to end it. I changed my leverage and made the human's meek attack hit Ghidorah's main neck, and then an explosion. I could feel myself growl. Thanks for being my meat shield. I didn't want to say that. I just did. My body felt like it was on autopilot. I blasted Ghidorah once again with my atomic breath. I would make sure this would be his final resting place. Ghidorah was no longer moving. I grabbed the sub that the humans were piloting and started to squeeze as I watched another appear in front of my face. You pitiful humans have interrupted us for the last time. I'm not entirely sure how it happened, but while I was distracted, Ghidorah had revived. What the hell? Why won't you die? His grapple forced me to release the sub. He broke surface and was in the air. Then it was my turn. I broke surface and was struck with massive bolts of electricity. I could feel my power waning. Each new shock was taking its toll on me. I'm trying to muster up my strength. He flies in and grapples me, firing his beams point blank. In desperation, I fire an atomic blast as full of power as I could right into his three ugly faces. He explodes. Just as I feel I've won, I saw something I couldn't explain. The residual energy made a burning visage of that whelp, which somehow I learned in this moment was Baragon, then Mothra, and then Ghidorah. I felt my energy, what was left of it, being drained. As I sank, a human sub charged at me wanting to attack. I did the only thing I could think to do. I closed my jaws around it and swallowed it whole. After calming a little bit, I now know that I really needed something to replenish my energy, and it was time for our revenge. As I surfaced, I had a moment of indigestion, and my neck would really begin to hurt. I was readying my atomic blast to the pitiful humans below. As I fired, it didn't come from my mouth, but erupted from my neck. What the hell? No, it had to be a fluke. I have to try again. I fired a second time, far more powerful. Same result. What the hell is this? Damn, was this hurting. I fell back into the water, completely drained. As I was falling through the mix of my blood and the water, I saw the culprit. That human sub hadn't been destroyed. Somehow it had bored through my neck, through that wound. Enraged and humiliated, I wasn't going to take this lying down. There was no way I was letting a human destroy me. We are the king of monsters. We are vengeance for humanity's crimes. We are your judge, jury, and executioners. I aimed a third and final blast. There was a deafening explosion with white-hot heat. My ears began ringing loudly. Then silence, and finally nothing. I could see myself floating. I was in the deep depths. No body, but I felt the peace and quiet I had sought since I awoke. My consciousness and my views began fading. I was in bliss from the silence. Rest. Yes, rest is needed. When next I wake, when next I...